there, amigos, and welcome to the Big Show Kraken Emporium. My name's Jerk, and I'll be your server today. We sure have been seeing a lot of you city folk pass through lately. Seems everyone and their mother are looking for a Kraken to get the eagle. Well, we aim to please, and as such, I'm going to tell you a few tips and tricks to not get caught with your pants down at the end of the match, sitting on 4 ships sunk and everyone else being on the other side of the map. Secondly, I will be covering which ships at which tiers are my go-to state-certified Kraken printers. And then if I do my job, we'll see if and we can't put you in your own brand spanking new Kraken today. No, how rude of me. I didn't introduce you to my compadre over here. This here's one mean son of a gun and my right-hand man for abusing other players. They call this SOB Ochakov. Now he's a real mean son of a gun. Hey there, big guy. Sun's getting real low. So we had to give him a couple handlers, and here they are. Yeah, I don't think I can do this voice any longer. Alright. You starve your writers of cheese for a few days over one typo, and suddenly they all start trying to write the next great American radio play. So I don't really need to talk about this game too much. It is the match I had to unlock the eagle. Well, you need that win afterwards, but that was nothing. But I have seen a fair amount of chatter on Reddit and elsewhere, people talking about their frustration of needing a Kraken to actually unlock the ship. Now, in my opinion, this mission is completely fair. It is, after all, only 1 million silver to buy the mission. If it were doubloons, then I would be whistling a different tune, but as it is, if nothing else, you're going to be getting 1,000 doubloons out of this, and at most, a new car. No, I'm kidding. A new free Tier 5 premium ship, which I have taken out exactly once, and I thought, oh, I'm going to like this ship. So maybe we will have them on here real soon. But to aid in your quest for that fun premium Tier 5 French destroyer, the only one that actually has smoke, the whole reason that you can use that commander's one smoke perk now. So let's talk about what ships are best for getting Krakens in my humblest of opinions. Coming in at number 1, this should be a surprise to no one. It is the ship that you perform best in. Yes, you, dear listener, whatever that is. The most important thing you can have in this game is experience, and if there is one ship that you know like the warm touch of your own hand on a cold winter night, then that's probably where you're going to want to start. However, if you are struggling there, then I will go through my own list. But before we do that, a general pointer, I think playing solo is the way to go. There is a reason you seldom see me put up 3-man division games, and that is because even an average 3-man division becomes very, very powerful when working together. And when we're talking about needing to sink 55% of the red team at least, there is a careful balance that needs to be maintained where you really don't want a complete blowout game. So onto my list. Obviously, to me, there is no other ship that you can control a match in more single-handedly than the Kleber. I took it out for 3 matches and got 2 Krakens in it to finish the Piotr Bagration campaign, but for whatever reason, legendary tier Krakens don't count for this mission, so let's ignore that along with the Shimakaze, which is also incredibly easy. But working our way down at tier 7, I don't have the Linen or the Key, so I can't speak to those, but Odin probably comes in tops for me, and that is because of its very high DPM and multiple utilities. It's got Hydro to deal with destroyers, it's got Torps to deal with battleships, and it has very quick cycling guns, and that's going to become a theme I think we will see repeating here as we go through this. I'm also tempted to suggest Massachusetts, as it is very, very good too, but when playing solo, the utility of Odin is incredibly useful. For cruisers at tier 7, we have a lot to choose from, but we are not talking about my favorite ships. We are talking about what cruisers you can take out to have the best chance for a Kraken, and for me, that is the barely nerfed Cleveland and the great equalizer Ochakov. For sheer DPM, Cleveland is capable of wrecking everything with relative ease, and right next to that is this ridiculously built ship that we are watching. It's got radar, it's got sonar, it's got torpedoes, it's got no armor, it goes 43 knots, it turns on a dime, and all of that utility means I can quickly traverse the map to engage more of the red team faster, and that's what you're going to see in this game. Most of my team is coming over here, and as soon as I clear out this side, I am going to go back to the other side and deal with the remainder of this team faster than anyone else on my team is capable of getting over there, and that's how I'm going to secure this Kraken. Next, destroyers at tier 7. So this is kind of an interesting one. I mean, there is a certain ship that I could recommend, but the thing with that is, since tier 7 destroyers face a fair number of radar cruisers now and legendary tier ships, while all of the tier 7 destroyers are capable of getting Krakens, obviously, I mean, I've done it numerous times, Lightning, Tashkent, all of these I really enjoy. I don't think, at least for me, again, this is my own personal opinion, I don't think they are what you should go for to get your Kraken out as quickly as possible. And the reason for that is you're just going to run into too many opponents that can hamper that. Again, not saying it's impossible, just saying that I think when we're talking about the number of games required to be played to knock out a Kraken, it's going to be higher, at least for me, to do in a destroyer than I would in, say, a cruiser. Like, this particular cruiser, I think it takes about, somewhere between 8 and 10 games to get a Kraken in this ship, consistently. Let me reiterate that again, because I am not looking for comments saying, well, I got a Kraken in the Azuma, as if that's possible. That's not what I'm talking about here. I am talking about how many matches it takes per ship to consistently get Krakens. That is all. Moving down the list into tier 6, and things change a little bit. For battleships, Sinop, it really is the only choice to me. It's laser accurate, it hits very hard, and it doesn't mind being tiered up. I wouldn't say it is a Kraken printer, but it isn't too far from being one. For cruisers, sadly, things get a little complicated as you still don't have the armor, and if you're bottom tier, you're going up against other cruisers with heals, and so that makes things pretty tough. Again, I'm not going to say it is a certified printer, but I will suggest Atlanta can be very good, especially if you can find a 5 destroyer match. To me, there is really only 2 certified Kraken printers at this tier, and that is the Ukikaze. I mean, it's got Shima Torps at tier 6, which means you'll see tier 5s regularly. And the other is the Z35, amazing concealment, good torps, great hydro, and very good guns, and neither of these feel like they're at a disadvantage when bottom tier. Moving down to tier 5, going back to Cali, right? Everybody knows your first game into California has to be a Kraken, and it always is. It's got lots of guns, it's always got lots of targets, and I find that it is probably the best Kraken printer at tier 5. Though you do also have the T61, which I haven't played enough of yet, so I'm not going to put my stamp of approval on there just yet. But an argument could also be made for the Fubuki, because it is very good at the tier 2 with its torps and its guns. Cruisers, I'm afraid, are going to miss out on this tier. You all know I love the Molotov and the DeGrasse, but again, I just don't think they are quite at that level of consistently delivering a Kraken within the 10 matches that we're just talking about here. Alright, tier 4, no surprise here, Kamikaze. I don't have it, but I don't need to have it just to know. Similarly, Minakaze is right there. Right where? There. Oh no, it's gone. Boo. Ha! Now, I could be tempted to put some battleships in at this tier, but I don't have the Nikolai, so I can't speak to that. And while I feel like Giulio Cesare could potentially be on here, at this tier, destroyers are just going to be the way to go, in my opinion. And wrapping things up at tier 3, well, one could say Arkansas before there were carriers, but with its lack of any AA now, I think I'd skip on that and go with the Nassau. Its guns reload quickly, it has them nearly everywhere, its secondaries can hit the citadel of cruisers, and they will shred destroyers. For cruisers, Iwaki and Yubari are on the money. The only time I've ever sank 8 ships in a match was with the laser-guided shells of the Yubari, and I think Iwaki produces 6 packs like your drunkle on Thanksgiving. And that's going to wrap it up for my list. I'm sure I'm forgetting some, like Ochakov, go! Add that to tier 4. I mean, I don't have every ship in the game, and again, this is more down to what you yourself feel comfortable in, but for me, I am going with utility, accuracy, and survivability, because that's really what keeps you around till the end of the match. And staying alive is the best thing you can do to make sure you have the ability to even secure that Kraken. Now, I've never seen the first ship sunk top the leaderboard, at least in a win as far as I can recall. And the last thing that I will bring up in here, and this is the hardest thing, get your mind out of the gutter. Positioning. I've said it many times, but if you aren't in a place to be able to shoot that 5th ship, then the Kraken will always remain just out of your range. The only reason I'm going to get this Kraken is because I end up being the only person who can really shoot at these last 2 ships. Every blue ship that remains trudged all the way over to the west side just in time to arrive as we, myself and my teammates, sank all the red ships over there. Once our base was getting capped, I turned around to get the destroyer from my 3rd ship and was lucky enough, yes, there is luck involved in Krakens, but you create your own luck. I was lucky enough that our blue ship that was also over here was burned down. And I'm not saying that to like be a jerk to that player. It's just that sometimes there is a little luck required. Sometimes you need some of your teammates to be sunk. Because otherwise that, I think it was a Georgia, definitely could have sank this Suzuya and the Atlanta. But as it is, watch somebody come in and try and yoink this right there. Come on, guys. Anyway, that is Kraken 306 and the Ochakov. All right, let's see the scoreboard. All right, 2,892 XP for a game. I'm not going to say it was particularly good, but I didn't need it to be. I just needed it to be consistent, and that's why I took this ship out, and that's why I'm showing you this video, and now we will retire showing this ship on the big show once again. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this one. If you think the 10 Krakens required to get the Pyotr Bagration 1 week early is a bit excessive, hit like. If you think the 1 Kraken for the Eagle is not enough, hit dislike. Questions, comments, and the inevitable feedback on how I am wrong and how you have 30 Krakens in the Azuma in only 25 matches, leave it down below. And if you want to be sure to see our hard-hitting interview with the Eagle, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, folks. I will get back out there for another one soon, and we will talk then.